Yes, I'm live. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am waiting for my guest to show up, but it is Wednesday and I am a Dr. Sabrina, and this is the Dr. Sabrina Show, Dr. Sabrina Live. And so, what we're going to be doing for the next 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks, for the next 4 weeks, we are going to be talking about domestic violence because this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so each week we're going to focus on some different things. So, what I want you to do is I want you to like and share, share and like, because I really want people to get the information. We want people to be aware of some of the challenges that people are dealing with. And I know for myself, I was looking at something on uh, Facebook. There was uh, it was kind of like a question. It was a little video, and it was about this woman and this guy, and they were arguing. And specifically, the female was uh, being very mean to him. She was trying to snatch his cell phone from him. She wanted to get from him his cell phone, and she kept saying, "Give me the cell phone. Give me the cell phone." And he says, "No, this is my cell phone. No, you cannot have my cell phone." And so uh, she kept pushing, and so when he would not give the cell phone, I'm trying to make sure I got everything done right. Hold on, because I want to make sure I am recording. Let me see if I am recording. Settings, general, camera, audio, guest, green screen. Okay, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. So, hey everybody. I'm really trying to figure all this out, so bear with me. But I'm trying to figure out how do I record, and I don't see how to record. So I guess I won't worry about that until the very end. I think it does automatically record. I don't know. This is new to me. Anyway, what I'm going to be talking about this whole time, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m., we're going to be talking about domestic violence this month because this month is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so I was looking at a clip on, my person is here. Yes, 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 yes.
Hi, Dr. Sabrina.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am doing quite well. Doing quite well. Thank you for joining tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and you know that we have to talk about it. You know
Right,
that. You know
right,
that.
right.
You just know that. We got to talk about it, and I'm trying to figure out the way to make my screen big so I don't. Ooh, I'm learning, girl. I'm learning. I'm
I'm
learning.
learning too.
We're learning as we go. Oh well. I guess I'm just maybe I'll do it this way. Oh, hey. So
Hey,
then I could put a ticker up under us. So let's see. A ticker up under us. I'm trying to figure out how to show this ticker. Um look.
I should have got a lamp in here. I'm looking kind of. Can you see me?
I I can see you, but you can tell it's not as light as it could be.
Yeah. Wow. Let me see. I'm trying to scoot toward the light.
So instead of us saying stay away from the light, we want people to come to the light. Come to the light.
Yes.
Come to
Let me
the
see. Cut this other light on. Let me see.
light. Uh-oh.
That. But I ain't gonna be in the hallway.
No, I don't think we want you to be in the hallway. I don't.
So did that get any better?
Yes, that got a lot better. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So we're just going to dive right in because we're going to be able to take this. People who may be watching the debate because it's the same time as the debate. So I didn't figure that out too well, but okay. But
Yeah.
this is still a valuable topic, and I still wanted us to be able to go in. So Real quickly, I was telling the audience about something that I saw on Facebook a while back, and it was
Okay.
a couple. They were arguing, and the lady was being extremely aggressive. She was trying to snatch his cell phone. She was trying to get his information from him, and he would not allow her to. And
Right.
uh, so she got so upset and so irritated that she slapped him.
Whoa.
She slapped him, and once she slapped him, he pushed her. And
Oh,
when he pushed
wow.
her, where she was standing, she fell in some water that was behind them. And so the
Okay.
question was he wrong for pushing her off of him?
Was he wrong? Well, he was, I guess you would call it retaliation, domestic violence. He's defending himself. And if you got records through the police or through the, yeah, through the police, if you have a record of the violence and they see that he made those reports, he won't do a day in jail.
That is good to know. And so that's why I wanted you to come on tonight so that you could talk about your organization and what you do. Linda Gardner is an advocate, an
Yes.
educator, and a supporter to help men who are facing and dealing with or who has experienced domestic violence as a man. So now let me ask this question because I know when people look at this, they're going to say, what? Because I was telling a friend of mine and he said, what a punk? He was being a punk? What?
Right.
So what is it, Linda, that men are seen as that they could not be in a domestic violence situation as not the perpetrator? Because usually when we hear it, we think the man is the perpetrator.
Right. So your question was, how can they be seen not as the perpetrator? Wow, that's a good question. If they, like I said, if they have records or if they have pictures or witnesses that say that this is going on in his life, then that would be paint him as not the perpetrator. Like for instance, my brother, when I had my birthday party one year, my best friend was there, Sheila, and she said, "Where's your brother at?" And I was like, "Oh, he's coming." And he was late for the party, and he lived downstairs in the basement. So why I say that is she prevented him from coming to the party on time.
Ah, that
That was,
control.
and then when she saw my best friend, she thought he was, talking to her, or
Flirting
you
with
know,
her jealousy.
she felt threatened by that.
Hmm. So, Linda, share with us what your organization's name is and your story. Just
Okay.
why you even decided to do this to focus on men.
Right. Well, what we didn't realize my brother was in a domestic violence relationship until maybe the week before he was being really severely abused. And when I say that, she had stabbed him in the head, in his hand, his thigh, and his buttocks. And his best friend said, "Oh, well, it wasn't that bad." But that's serious. When my brother told me, he said, "Oh, she stuck me." So oftentimes the male victims, they'll downplay the violence and they'll protect the aggressor. They'll say, like, if their glasses break or something, or they'll say, "Oh, the baby knocked my glasses off my face," or "I fell off the roof." Well, how you on top of the roof and you scared of heights? So they make up stories to, to
Very similar.
protect.
Is it isn't that very similar to what we find even female um, victims do? They come up with stories. They,
Yes.
I fell down the steps. Girl, you ran
Right.
the steps. How you falling down the steps? I bumped my head on. Well, that don't look like a bump. That look. Like, I remember the scene in The Color Purple when
Mhm.
they were fighting.
Right.
Harpo and Miss Seeley. They fighting. Oh no, Sophia. they fighting. And the daddy
Right.
says, he said, well, what happened to your face? It's that old mule back. That mule got me. He said,
Right.
that
Right.
looked like a fit. That's what that looked like. That looked like a fit print.
Yeah. Oftentimes that's what they do. They cover up their violence, the aggressor's behavior. I tell the guys, oh, my organization is called Jerry's World Incorporated, and I started it because of my brother. And when he finally did call me, and I, kind of put one and one, two and two together, I'm like, wow, she was emotionally abusing him, physically abusing him, financially holding, the money back or hiding his wallet. I got a few props back here. Um, this
Good.
is a this is a bottle of medicine, and oftentimes if they're on medication, they'll hold the medicine from them. They'll starve them. If they have kids, they'll slide that abuse on towards them. If they have a dog or something, they'll starve or kick the dog. If he has a favorite, like sometimes the guys pride themselves when they was in high school, they football player. They have this jersey and don't touch it. They'll wear it till holes are in it, and they'll just destroy that, or they'll mop up the floor with it, knowing that that was his prized possession. And that's what happened with Tiger Woods. Speaking of prized possession, with his golf club, it said the iron 9 or something, and that's the one he hit the ball with and won the PG. Well, his wife, when she heard the messages on his phone, she chased him out the house, and he was trying to literally get away. And she took the golf club and just smashed his window.
Wow.
So they all most of the times I hear songs that got, different takes on violence in it. Like, you bust the windows in your car, Jasmine Sullivan. And then I got another prop. Oh, she had this, which is a crowbar.
Crowbar.
And a crowbar can do some damage.
A
and
crowbar.
and she said, I put my initials in your car door to make sure that you know it was me. She wanted
Wow.
him to hurt the same way she was hurting.
Hurting.
The aggressors are always turning it around like, you hurt me or you did this to me. And then another song comes to mind, Ohio Players, Free. And he said, the beginning of it says, one day, child, I won't have to listen to your lies. Because oftentimes the aggressor will lie to them. She'll tell him, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. Or, oh, yeah, we're going to get married. We're going to get married. And he said he just wanted to be free from her. He said, I don't need your money. I don't need your loving. I don't need nothing from you no more. I want to be free.
And I think one of the things that I learned, spending time with you and learning from you, is that a lot of times we're singing songs very flippantly, and the songs are giving stories of people who are being abused,
Yes. And
specifically men.
they have more songs for men being abused than women.
Wow. So
They
isn't
have,
that interesting that men will find a way to hide their abuse in a song?
right. Right, in the song, yes. And then Commodores had a song called Sail On. And if you watch the video, it starts off with a person parasailing in the air, with the wings, and they're just parasailing, just going. He said, I don't care where you're going. He say, I try to make you happy. I gave you all my money, I gave you all my time, and you gave me nothing in return.
Wow. Wow. And I think that why I really wanted to cover this topic is because I think that so often in society we only think about a woman being victimized. We only think that the woman can be the aggressor or that the woman can even do sexual assault to a man.
Right.
Because in man and in our mind, how can a woman sexually violate a man? How can
True.
that happen?
And that's one of the questions I asked the guys, can a man be raped?
Mm.
And by a woman. And a couple of guys, oh no, no way, no way, no way. How she gonna rape us? And then a couple of guys, I hear them, they take their head down and they say, yeah, I believe it, because they have been victims.
So let's just put a pin in it right there, because whew, that's heavy. That's
Yeah,
heavy when you think about, because I have been a victim of molestation and rape. And
right,
so when I think about what happened to me, it is puzzling how a woman can do something similar to a man, because we
yes,
always see men as the stronger of the two sexes. They
right.
have more power. They can easily take a woman and throw her down or whatever. So, what are some of the things that you've heard men say, the men that you've worked with, that
Right.
can happen, or what does that look like, or have they shared?
Yes. Oh, yeah. They share all the time. One session I had, they say that well, she gives them derogatory names for their parts,
Okay. Okay.
sexual derogatory names, and belittling them. And when if a
Oh,
man says no, just like a woman, if a woman says no, no means
so is
no.
it?
If
No
you
means no.
proceed, like all the time they say, they wake up, they feel something warm down there, she's giving fellatio pleasures to him, and he didn't even agree to it, even if he
Mm,
enjoyed it, even if he had orgasms or whatever's going on. If he said no, he just been raped.
wow.
And
And
that is
I think that that is very difficult for people to understand, for people to believe, and for people to agree with. Because even
right.
when you think of boys
Mm-hmm.
and boys being in school, and say a boy is 15 and his teacher
Right.
is 30, and the teacher starts to mess around with him, all the other boys feel like, oh, well, I want that kind of teacher.
Right.
They think it's a good thing, but it is
Right.
still illegal. It is
And
still the person with the power overpowering and manipulating the younger person.
right. And that happened to Chris Brown. Am I saying that right? The singer.
Yes, Chris Brown, the singer.
Yeah, yeah, that happened to him, his babysitter. And a lot of times people would give you a high five. Oh, yeah, you got your babysitter. Oh, wow, that's cool. But in his mind, that's not cool. I just been raped. How is that cool? And sometimes, most of the times, the guys share that they poke a hole in the condom, the woman will, and that will create problems, because if the man tells you, I don't want to be a father, or I'm not ready to be a father, or I don't want any more kids, or I got to be protective of sexual diseases. If she pokes a hole in that rubber and gets pregnant, 9 months later, he's holding a baby that he's conceived through rape.
Because he did not want it.
And he did not want it. That's why if you hear a guy say, she got pregnant, you be thinking, wait a minute, weren't you part of that?
Weren't you part of that? It's a possibility that she wasn't, that he
Right.
wasn't.
He wasn't, exactly, but we're not thinking like that. We thinking,
So,
oh yeah, he's something going on with him. He's in denial. He just don't want that child. But he already told her up front.
yes, I absolutely think that these are topics that we need to continue to discuss, because I think one of the things that floored me about your story, about your brother,
Mhm.
and that you were seeing some things, you knew things were a little off, but you really did not know that it was to that magnitude.
Right. I did not know. And my father had died, and she made him late for the funeral. We was like, because we always supposed to ride in the car together. Okay, we get to the church. Where's Jerry? Where's Jerry? Where's Jerry? We all in the front row. Here he comes with her. And it's puzzling because we live next door to the church.
So again,
So how you gonna be late to the
me,
funeral?
you done already told me two situations that your brother
Right,
was right there and
right,
still late because
right,
of the actions of his significant other. Let
right.
me ask this question. Did you all like her?
It was just something strange. She would never like, come around us. Everything was always rushed. She was always either coming or going. And then
Mm.
of course, if you said something to her, he would not like that. Because like
So
again,
did she ever attempt to have a relationship with you all?
no.
Okay.
And then one day they came upstairs from the basement and she said, "Oh yeah, 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 we just gonna get married. We just gonna get married." And I'm like, huh? Where did all this come from? And then I looked at him, I said, "Jerry, is this true? Are you gonna get married?" And he just kind of stuttered because he used to stutter. He said, "Well, yeah." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, you don't sound too sure about this." So oftentimes a woman will get a man in a predicament where he will say yes, even though he means no. Sometimes if the guy can't read or can't read very well or is not a strong reader,
Uh-huh.
that's when the attack comes. They will have you sign your car over, your boat, your house, the bank account, everything.
Wow. So let me
Yeah.
ask this question because I know you have an assessment form that you created. And in this assessment form, you ask specific questions. Give us a
Right.
give us an example of some of the questions that you have. And why did you even think to put these questions together to ask men about any abuse they may have experienced?
Well, I was thinking in terms if I was a woman and somebody would ask me these questions, I would be just, put yes or no. The questions I noticed they didn't have a survey for men. They have a survey for women and they tweak it. And the few men that they do get reported, they go by the women's survey. They don't go by the men's. They don't have a
Okay.
survey. So I created one. So I start off with the branch of service because I spoke at the Veteran Center. I start off asking their occupation. So we have all the way from teachers, disabled veterans, um, crane operators, entrepreneurs. It's a vast variety of men. And if they put yes to any of the questions, then they've been abused.
Okay.
So one of the questions is, have you been exposed or experienced it? Most of them put yes. Are you presently living it now? One guy put somewhat. So he
Mm,
was, yeah. And then I put, did you report it? Majority of them put no, but a few put yes. And then
okay.
I asked, would you like help? Most of them put yes, a couple of them no. Would you like to share your story? And they put yes. Then I asked, what year? Now you'd be surprised out of all these things the men go through as far as, drugs and been in and out of prison. You'd be surprised that the men, they remember dates, years.
Wow.
So one guy put 2011 to 2016. I had a seminar in 2018 and he put 2018. And that really touched me. One guy put off and on all my life.
Wow.
And I also asked, have they been emotionally, verbally, physically, sexually, financially, even insults? That's a form of domestic violence. Name calling. And I often ask, are they accused of flirting and cheating? And that's a form of domestic violence. And they put yes. And then threats of abuse to you and family and friends. And they put yes.
Now that's very interesting because I know, especially like when we watch Lifetime and things of that nature, we see all these stories about women and how the man will threaten them, threaten their family members, go to
Right.
their job, things of that nature. But we really don't hear about women doing that to men, but women do. I know women
They do, yeah.
go up to their man's job and get the fooling and stay outside and wait for them to get off. And, I know that a lot of times in the auto industry, when you're working in a plant, women call
Yes.
themselves, this is my plant husband or my plant wife.
Right, right.
And if you got the wrong one at home, you're going to start some trouble if you talk about this your plant husband or your plant wife.
Right,
And so
right.
those are
And
just things that we need to continue to shine a light on and take the stigma off of it. For those of you who are listening, I want you to like and share, and you will be able to go back or send someone to my YouTube page to see it so you can get this information, because all of us may be a person away from knowing someone that is experiencing this, a man who is experiencing it. And let me say this,
yes,
'cause I know you got something to say, but this is the thing I think is important also. We have to do a better job at supporting our men and just expressing their emotions, because what I find is a lot of times men who are hurting, men who are sad, men who feel like they want to cry, they feel like in society they shouldn't do that. They can't do that. So they may become aggressive, they may become
right,
very quiet. But we want you to be able to express your emotions, because emotions is not a woman thing, it's a
right,
people thing. We are people and we all get emotional about something at some point. And so
right.
need to have the ability and freedom to just experience and own their own emotions. Let me say this to the women. Mhm.
Yes. And a lot of times people say, "Oh, why don't you just walk away?" It's like, wow, why didn't I think of that? It's not that
It's
easy.
not that easy, but it sounds like it. It sounds like it is. I was watching just before we came on tonight. I was watching Married at First Sight. It's a show,
Okay.
that's a reality show that people get married the day they meet each other. They meet each other at the altar and they get married and they stay married for 8 weeks, and then it's an experiment. And so this
Right.
particular season, they had to stop filming and they were locked in together because of COVID. And
Wow.
you saw some people who you saw some of the women who were really kind of abrasive and abusive in how they talked to their mate. And then the same thing for the men. There were some men. It was interesting to watch the men who were feeling like they weren't having a connection with their mate, and their mate going,
Right.
I don't want you, don't touch me. Oh, look,
Right. Right. Now,
all of that.
now let me ask you this. Why do you think men don't tell?
Because of the shame of being seen as just what I said earlier. Oh, he a punk. He weak.
Yep. 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 Well, how about if they owe child support?
Oh, well, then
And
you can't tell, because if you call the
yeah,
police, they
there
gonna
you
they
go.
gonna get you.
There you go.
The
Um,
system will jack you up for that child
right.
support.
And sometimes they might have a warrant. It's their pride. They might be a felon. They might be on probation. They might be on a sex offenders list. And he's calling, about help for himself, and he's not going to get it that easily. They don't want nobody looking at them like they crazy. That's what a lot of them say. And then another reason, they feel like nobody's gonna believe them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a man. Nobody's gonna believe me. They don't want to get teased or ridiculed. They, like you said, shame. And they don't want nobody to think they soft. That's the number one. Like they don't want that. They can't take that. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be laughed at. And then uh, they protecting the aggressor. They don't want their baby mama or their child's mother to go to jail.
Okay.
Or they say, "Oh, that didn't hurt. That didn't hurt me." And then most of them are in denial, and they don't want it to seem unmanly. If I tell, I'm a seem unmanly.
And they really not. Did someone put on our Facebook page? I love it that people are interacting with us. You can leave comments in the chat. We will respond to them. They may be protecting a family member that was their abuser.
True.
Mm,
Yeah. Bring some light to it.
yes, Hunty. Yes. You know what? It's so many different things that go into why people stay in an abusive relationship in the first place. The first thing I think that's important to understand is that a lot of times when people are feeling less than, when they feel that they don't quite measure up, they feel like, well, this may be the only person I can get because this person been in their
Right.
ear. Ain't nobody gonna want you. You can't read. Why would somebody
Right.
want you? You ain't got no money. Why would somebody want you? You buck to, they pull out all those things that the person already feels self-conscious
Right.
about, and they just ride on that. They ride on that. And so you have to, all of us, men and women, must first learn to love ourselves.
True.
Loving ourselves is so important. It is so important because when you love yourself, you're not taking the bull.
Right.
You're just
Right.
not taking it. It's like, I know I'm much more than that. And you don't have to hit me to let me understand that you can hit.
Right. Right.
I know that you're
Um.
capable of hitting. So you ain't got to hit me. When I feel that there is abrasiveness, there is uh, and I feel like this now because I'm single. And if I meet a man and he seems to be, I was on a date once and a guy, we were leaving out of a restaurant and I'm out and about. And sometimes people recognize me from Fox 2 or whatever and they want
Right.
to speak to me. And so I went to speak to some people and he grabbed my arm and like put me back. And it's like, where you going? And I went, ooh,
Wow.
I went, ooh, ooh, ooh. He said, where you going? And I says, I'm going to hug a neck over here. And he said, you're with me. Oh,
Wow.
okay. So guess who ain't never seen them no more?
Right.
No more ever. Red
Right.
flags have to come up
You-
and people pay attention to the red flags.
right. That's a number one thing. And oh, they had so many stories of of abuse where one woman she threw gasoline on her boyfriend and set him on fire, and
Wow.
then she put the fire out. So when the police and the firemen got there, she couldn't understand why they put her in handcuffs. They said, "Did you do this?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "But I doused the fire out with some urine." And she thought she was doing a big deal.
Okay, hold on. Stop. Hold up. So hold on.
Okay, okay.
Hold on. What did she put the fire out with?
Yearn. Yearn. Am I saying that right?
Let, let me put it in real life terms. Pee pee.
Yes.
Oh, and okay. So
She
my
said, I tried to put the fire out.
where did the food come from? I mean, did she just stand there and pee on them? Did she
Yeah.
pee the door up?
She had a
Did she,
bucket. They said she had a bucket.
so this sounds to me like premeditation.
Yeah, she was saving that up.
Oh my God.
Yes. And when the women are professionals, it's even worse because the one story, she was a nurse, worked at the local hospital, and she abused her boyfriend. I think she sliced him with a razor blade, either a razor blade, one of those scalpels or something, and he was bleeding pretty bad. He needed some stitches. She said, "I'm not taking you to the hospital, and they taking my license. Get in that bathroom so I can stitch you up." Yeah, this is what's going on for real, for real. if they are a person that carries a weapon for their job, I'm not gonna say the name.
Police officers.
Ah, I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Police
They know they got that issued weapon, and they pat that thing every time you turn, every time you pass by. Pat that weapon. It's not funny, but I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at how can a person get away with that? How can you actually do this to another human being? And it's a thing called, I think we talked about that, ultra violent, where that's brutal, violence, unprovoked, but they do it to at the expense of you to give them a laugh.
Okay. Yeah, they think that is funny. I
They think, and it's to the brutal extent, real brutal. I mean, you might, oh, what happened to your face? You got bruised up. What happened? You limping? And if the guys are in a wheelchair, or if they, crutches or something, oh, you can walk, and they'll took them out the wheelchair, snatch their cane from them. They'll disable them any way they can.
But let me ask this question because this is something that I've watched over the years, and I think and I don't know why this is, but doesn't it seem like women who are really, really mean and treat people really mean always seem to have a man?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
I mean, it just seems like the ones who are mean, that talk down to them, that treat them like they don't want to be bothered. Those are the men that be chasing after them. But the
Right,
nice
right.
ones, the ones that's kind, the ones that's loving, the ones that's supportive, they don't.
Yep.
They don't want to have
That's
nothing to be bothered. They don't want to be bothered with them. So I think that there's a few major points that we want to make sure that the audience gets. First,
mhm.
men get abused too.
Too correct.
And it ain't just white men, it ain't just nerdy men. In fact, there was a study that was done that NFL players,
Yeah,
National Football League players, many of their wives and girlfriends are abusive to them.
yeah,
And
yeah.
because they're so big, they don't fight back. They don't hit back because they know, one, I got a big old football contract that I don't want to lose. And you
Right,
were sharing with me, we were talking about Left Eye
right. Left eye. Yep,
because
yep.
she was with a football player.
Right. Rising. I think his last name Rising.
And what was the reason why she mistakenly burned down the whole house?
I think it was an accident. I don't think she meant to burn down that $1 million house, but he came back from New York with like 10 pair of gym shoes, and he didn't buy her any. And she took the shoes and put them in it's 2 stories, the tub or the closet, and set them on fire. And before she knew it, when she ran downstairs to tell him, she turned around, the house was on fire.
And
That house burnt to the ground.
I remember
Yes,
that.
yes.
And they never broke up.
And they never broke up. And most of the time when when the male break up with the abuser, it's worse. Like Mary J. Blige's father. He was a Vietnam veteran. He was going with this woman. She was 50, I think 55. He was 50 something. And they broke up several times. This time she was slashing his tires. He went down to stop her. I don't know if there was an apartment building or what, and went downstairs to catch her, caught her in the act. She reached up and slashed his throat. Well, of course, they had to drive him to the hospital, and he stayed in, is it Flint? Oh, I got to get the stories right, but yeah, uh, took him to the hospital. He flatlined twice,
Wow.
and Mary J. Blige said that on one of the talk shows. Yep.
Wow. And we don't really even realize just how detrimental violence is to children who are watching,
Right.
especially when that's their parent, when that's their loved one. When you see your mother or your father in anguish, that negatively impacts the child.
Right. I'm
Because
certain.
the child feels very helpless. They can't really do anything. They can't help, and then they
Right.
seek love. So whether it's the mama abusing the husband or the husband abusing the mama, children often are the ones who are most negatively impacted.
Right.
Who
Yes,
die.
they are. They have some. They offer help for the men as well as the women, but mostly I'm looking for what kind of help can the men get when they're in the domestic violent relationship. And one of the things they can get is free dental if they got any kind of injuries from the
Oh,
domestic violent relationship. I have it here. It's called um, Bring Back a Smile. Bring Back a Smile. Well, what that does is the dentist, they fill out an application, and if they're a candidate, then the dentist will do their teeth for free. Like,
so
so
what would
like
be
after
what
a
would
result
be
of a domestic violence relationship, a lot of times they don't want to go back to work because they might be missing teeth or something like that. They also have facial and male facial surgeons who will reconstruct your face or body parts or whatever for free.
wow?
They also have
Now, let me ask this question. How did you even find this information out?
so that's Dr. Sabrina, that's what I do.
I'm like, I've never even heard of men being able to get their teeth fixed because
Yeah.
they were in a domestic violence situation. They do they have to be able to prove it in some way? Do they have to have
Well,
a police report? Do they have to,
again, like I say, if they report it to police, they have that trail. If they have witnesses, if they have the doctor and they tell the doctor is, well, I guess you would say mandated to tell.
yes.
I mean,
Yes.
they teach the doctors to look out for trafficking, but they don't teach them to look out for domestic violence.
And is that they don't teach them to look out for domestic violence in men,
In
women,
men.
or both, just men? So
Well,
let me ask
they know, yeah, they mostly notice if it's women. They Yeah, but they won't even, yeah.
I'm
I'm not
going
saying they
to
won't
have
report it. I'm saying they will not pay attention to that.
have you had in your experience working with men who may have been abused by other men because they are in an LGBTQ type of relationship?
hmm Have I have I did some research on that?
Have you had any men that has come to your program who may have been abused by their lover who was a man?
Yeah, yeah. I had one in my class. He went for my high heel shoes that I had, my props. He went for those, and he shared a few things with me. But oftentimes, when they're in a same-sex relationship, the other person, his family might not know he's fully,
So that's another reason why they would not tell.
right.
So they
He's
are
he
on
might be bi or he might be fully gay, or I'm probably saying that wrong, but have that community forgive me. But he might not have told everybody, and if they get into a domestic violence altercation, his lover would tell. Well, I'm just gonna tell your family, and he might not want them to do that. That's one way of them hurting each other.
that's manipulation, absolutely. So, have you watched this show? You know how I am. If it comes up, it comes out. But have you seen the show that comes on called P Valley?
No, I haven't.
Have you heard of it?
No.
But what I'm gonna
No.
do with you, Linda? P Valley is a show about the strip club. And so it follows the storyline of different people who work in and at the strip club and some of the clientele, things of that nature. But the person who runs the strip club is a gay man, and he dresses very feminine, most of the
Hmm.
time. But he's not he's not, I guess they can't call him, somebody say Juanita. Who's Juanita?
Anita.
Um, Danielle just said Juanita. Uh, I
Okay.
So the guy, he dresses every. I love to watch it because I've been trying to figure. I mean, he have his hair done, he have his nails done, but he still has
Wow.
a full beard,
Oh.
and he wears lipstick, and he wears the frilly kind of clothes and boots and heels and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that's in the storyline of the show is that he has fallen in love with the guy who's like a rap kind of guy, and the rap
Mm-hmm.
kind of guy. Um, oh, good. Invite Juanita. Thank you. Um, so he fell in love with this guy, and the guy
Mm-hmm.
love. I think he's done caught feelings for him too, but
Right.
he, because of his image
Right. Yep.
as the rapper. So I was told in talking to some other people, and we are definitely, if you're listening, we are definitely going to have one of our shows, the show on the 21st, Wednesday the 21st. We're going to be talking specifically about the LGBT community and
Good.
some of their issues around domestic violence, because I did not want this month to be the same old, same old.
Right.
The power and control wheel, which is cool.
Right.
I think that we need to address some other issues because these things do not have a light shined on them. So,
Right.
men who are in abusive relationships, and to understand that abuse is not just physical, abuse is emotional, abuse is verbal. Uh,
Verbal.
when you were saying that one of the things that they may do is to give a derogatory name to their member.
Yes.
So, uh, men got to think about size. So, if
Yeah.
she's saying, I'm gonna tell everybody that you live
Right.
in some land.
Right. 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 Right.
Some land.
Yeah. And all
You
the
don't
things
want
are
that.
hurtful. Right. And then also the power and control wheel that they give to the people
Women.
when they
Uh-huh.
go to the. Oh, we got to say what domestic violence is too. Domestic violence is about abuse. Women. Yeah. Abuse, power, and control. So they have a power and control wheel that they give to the victims.
Hmm.
And I called the National Center of Domestic and Sexual Violence, and I asked them why don't they have a will for the men?
Uh-huh.
They have a will, and it says, coercion and threats if he does this, intimidation if he intimidates you, waving, knives and stuff in front of you or displaying weapons, gestures, but they don't have one for men who say if she does this.
So, it sounds
So
like
the will is biased.
so. It sounds to me, Linda, like that's something else you need to create. Just like you
Oh,
had
I'm
to
yeah,
create your own assessment. And whenever you find that there's gaps in services, this is what I
yeah,
say all the time. If you find a gap somewhere and you recognized it, that's
yes,
how you feel it.
yes. I'm gonna
Because
jump on that. I'm
because
gonna get on that.
you do have a unique. Now, how long have you been doing your program? And then tell us the name of your nonprofit.
Okay, the name of my nonprofit is Jerry's World Incorporated. I named it after my Jerry. I mean, my Jerry. I named it after my brother Jerry because he lived in his own world. So that's why I called it Jerry's World Incorporated.
Okay.
And what my organization will end up being a shelter for male victims of domestic violence. But right now, it's in the process of being a shelter for people in need. That's
Okay.
what the state declared it as. And what I've done since I had the organization, I did a spa day for the men at one of the substance abuse clinics. And I paid for 20 guys haircuts and 20 guys back massages, and we were going to have the manicurists there, but something happened. They didn't show.
Okay.
So yeah, I had snacks for them. We played music, and they were just like, could not believe that they were actually getting free haircuts and, back massages. And this was a little bit before the quarantine.
So
So,
I love that you are doing that, and I love that you are calling attention to the men. Because a lot of times, I mean, when you think about when we give things, we gift things, like at high schools,
mhm,
you always find where they collect dresses to give girls dresses for prom.
right.
Where do you find, it's a whole bunch of boys that need help with a tuxedo.
Yes, yes. And I did, and I gave the men their own personal, like what you said, to give the ladies gift bags. I gave them a gift bag. It had two pairs of socks, the footy socks, because a lot of the guys I found out they don't like them things going all the way up to their kneecaps. So
Okay.
I just kind of listen what they want. Put razor blade in there. I couldn't put the hand sanitizer in there. That there's certain things you can't put in those care packages
Okay.
because
Okay.
that hand sanitizer has
That's
alcohol in it.
alcohol. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I get, I'm a dental assistant, so toothbrush, floss, and toothpaste was in there. And then I gave each of them, I put a magnum in each bag, or
Did you,
a,
you say a
a
magnum?
condom.
What
But
did
I
you, okay,
chose magnum.
did you give them a regular condom or did you give them a
I gave
magnum?
them magnums.
Oh my goodness! You were
And
stroking them ego.
I said, if you choose not to have a magnum, whatever, you can give it back. Nobody turned it in.
I do want to commend you though, because there are so many places and spaces in our society that people are hurting and no one's
Right.
paying attention. No one is giving them assistance. No one is giving them a
Right.
platform to tell their story and to have voice and to know that really it is okay and that somebody is going to be there to help you. What I want to say, because as we get closer to shutting down, we've been on here 55 minutes. Can you believe this?
No, more.
We've been on here 55 minutes. We're gonna be on here because I do want you to tell a story which you know is my favorite story that you tell.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
cannot leave without telling my favorite story because I like when I know stuff that people think they know, but they
yeah.
really
Right.
don't. I love that. That's my favorite. And
Yes,
so
yes,
um,
yes.
tell people how they can get in contact with you if they want to find out more about your services, what you're doing, and I want people to know that you can take donations. That you do
Yes.
donations too. That you still are going to put together care bags and gift bags. Let me go on record and say that I am going to give some things to you to give to the men. And the next
Right.
time that you are able to do a pamper party for the men, I am going to pay for services for. I'm going to pay for somebody to come and do their feet because I hate
Yes.
when men don't have their feet done. You need
Yeah.
your feet done,
That
man.
that's what. Yep. I had bought some. Yeah. Some of those. Yeah. To get them the. We were gonna do the pedicures too.
Yep, we're
But
gonna do a pedicure and the wax. You put your feet down in the wax. And
yes.
it's all warm and good, and then you peel the
Yes.
wax off and your feet be soft. Some of these
Right.
men need to get you don't need to, that can drive a person to want to hit you. You slicing them up and under the sheet.
Right. Right.
You
Wow.
ain't get them toenails in forever. So yeah, we want to
Eh,
make sure that we do that. I really appreciate that.
oh,
And I didn't know that
thank
you do
you.
that. So I will be of assistance to help you with that and get some of my friends involved to help you with
Beautiful.
that. And the next time you do it, hopefully when we get out of the pandemic and we can go back
Right.
and see
Right.
people in person again, uh, we'll
Right.
get
And
we'll get some attention to it. And maybe get one of the I'm endearing to Fox, so maybe one of the Fox newscasters can come and speak or
oh,
something.
good.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just want my thing is at the end of the day, we have to support each other. We have to
Right. Right.
help each other in any way that we see fit. And ever since I've met you, Linda, You have been a beacon of light in my life. So
Oh,
I
thank
know that
you.
you've been a beacon of light in other people's lives. And so when I first heard about Jerry's World and I invited you on the radio show, how many years ago was that? It had to be at least like
About
three,
three,
four.
three. Yep, I want to
At
say
least.
three.
And then, we've just continued our relationship, and you have been a great supporter of mine. I really appreciate that. When I'm having something, you come, you support, you pay. You bought me
Yes.
that gorgeous white dress.
And I saw you in it too. It's beautiful.
I was looking cute. I was looking cute. Yeah, we really have to do that. We have to lift each
Right.
other up. We have to give people platforms to tell their story. And
Correct.
the next time that we have an opportunity to, whenever, because I think there's some men that need to tell their story.
Right. And also, I want to say this before we leave. The SSA, which is Social Security Administration, if
Mm-hmm.
depending on how severe the domestic violence situation is, they would give you a brand new identity. They'll give you a brand new social security number and everything.
Now, I heard that they would do that for women. I didn't know that they were doing that for men.
Well, I'm not sure if it's, but I have to do some research, but yeah, I know they would give you a whole new identity. And ADT has a program where you wear a device around your neck, and if it's violence going on in the home, you can press the button, and it'll alert the fire department, and it'll also alert the police department.
Wow.
It's called Aware, the ADT, yeah, the ADT Aware program.
Wow. ADT aware.
And they give free security system for victims of domestic violence. And then the dental, the facial plastic reconstruction
Mhm.
surgery, that's called face to face. And I called these numbers to see if they're still active, and they are.
I love it. Face to face for reconstructive.
Right. And the dental part is called Give Back a Smile.
I had that one. Reconstructive surgery.
And yeah. And then it says some victims, let's see, it's part of it. Yeah, it doesn't say male or female for the social security, changing
Yeah,
your social security.
I really don't think they could have said just females. That would have been
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
wouldn't have been right. So
Yeah, they
tell
they
people
call
how
them
they can find
they
you.
they well, my email is Jerry's World Incorporated. Yeah, spelled Jerry's World Incorporated. That's one word. At yahoo.com.
Wait a minute, hold on. Jerry's World.
Incorporated, INC,
Uh-huh.
period,
Period
at yahoo.com.
at yahoo.com. Okay.
And my phone number is, excuse me, area code 313
Mm-hmm.
739 4433.
And then do you have social media?
I have Instagram. Ooh, I don't know that.
You so funny.
I don't. I'm on Facebook, Linda Gardner.
I don't know what that is. I got it, but I don't know it. I know we I was doing a class at Christopher Newton University earlier today, and it was on Zoom. And me and the professor's a girlfriend of mine. When I tell you we was having struggles trying to get this whole little camera thing and sharing the screen and
Right.
after all this technology stuff. But I want you to tell the story about Al Grits Green.
Yeah, Al Green. Oh my God. Yeah, that's what's over what 40, 45 years ago when he was in a domestic violent relationship. And actually he had ended the relationship. And remember I said it gets worse when you end it in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the upcoming star at the time, and he met this woman, and she just would not leave him alone. So I guess they called themselves going with each other, and then he found out that she was already in a relationship, so he called it off. Well, she
Okay.
followed him from city to city, state to state, and she showed up at his door one day, and he could not believe she was there. So he said, I'm going to take a shower. I want let yourself out. Well, of course, she just slammed the door, but she was still in the house. And she came into she asked him something and he told her no. What she asked him was, would you marry me? And he said, no, I would not marry you because you're already married. She was married with kids, a husband, everything. And so when he took a shower, she went in the kitchen to cook hot grits. And she went into the shower where he was in the shower and threw the grits on him. It landed on his back, his neck, and the side of his face. And he had third-degree burns, stayed in the hospital 3 months.
Wow.
Well, before he went to the hospital, I always ask everybody what happened to the woman. Did she go to jail? Did
I, you know,
she
I mean, of course, I know what happened to her
Yeah,
now. But when you, I'm just
are
asking
any of
you
your listeners
first.
chiming in saying what happened?
Uh, let's see. Nope. Let me see. Nope. 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 Nope.
Nope, nope,
But
nope. Nobody know what happened.
nobody knows what happened.
Her name
Nobody knows
was
what happened to the lady who threw the grits on Al Green. And it's interesting because he's never lived that down. They still call him Al Grits
Al Green,
Green.
Hot Grits Green. Yes. And her name was Mary Woodson. And so he's scalded, his skull and his skin is falling off. He's in pain, he's in shock. He takes off, naked, running through the house, chasing her. She goes in his room and slams the door. He cannot get in the door at all. And all of a sudden, he heard a loud noise, a loud bang, and boom, she hit the floor. She blew her brains out.
Wow.
And, well, it's his gun, so he got some explaining to do. So they later realized that there's no way he could be in the bedroom and lock the door from the inside and come back out.
Right.
So they determined that it was self-inflicted wounds.
Wow.
And so a year later, he said, Lord, I'm hanging around the wrong people. And if you, fix me up and do right, I'll do right by you. He went to church for a whole year after that. And then the next year he became a minister and a reverend. He's a reverend ever since.
Yes, he is. He is a reverend. Be preaching.
He is a
Preaching,
reverend.
be preaching and singing, but he still be
He's still,
loving.
yeah, yes. And
Amen.
I want to meet him so bad just to meet him like, wow,
It is
you
amazing.
were in a domestic violent relationship.
Wow. And it's funny because we really don't hear him ever tell the story.
Never. Never tell him that.
Never tell the story. But I
Right.
think sometimes when things are so traumatic, I mean, he
Mhm.
had that level of burn. Burns are very, very painful. And the healing and the coming back from that. I guess he says, when I get past this, I don't want to think about no Miss Mary Woodson.
Right, right. And he's in the ranks with Lionel Richie when his wife jumped him and the woman. And he sent his wife to karate school. She went for years, so she was an expert. Mark,
And
whatever they call that with your hands.
uh-huh.
Her hands were a weapon. And yes, women do go to jail. They get the matching bracelets, and she got a pair. for jumping on him and his founder with his lover.
Wow.
Yes, Lionel Richie.
And the stories go on and
And
on
on.
and on and on. Because right now we're still dealing with something that went on between Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh yeah.
She got shot in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what caused the shooting. But
Yeah,
at
and
first, she wasn't saying nothing and he wasn't saying nothing.
saying nothing, right? They're protecting each other. They both abusers.
So something was going on that both of them knew. We better
Right.
shut the hell up. So, well, my time is up. I want to thank you for being my guest tonight, Linda Gardner.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. And we got the hotline number.
Oh, yes. Give me the hotline number.
The National Domestic Violence Hotline number is 1-888.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I can't type that fast. I'm old. Hotline number is, okay, I'm ready.
1-888-743-5754.
Oh, I'm at 5754. Okay.
And that's 24 hours.
24 hours national domestic hotline. That is for men and that is for women. Whoever you are, if you need help, there is help available. Linda Gardner is here, right here in the city of Detroit. You can call her. Her information is in the chat. We'll be back next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, you need to get all your teenagers round up because we're going to talk about domestic violence among teens.
Wow.
These young people.
We don't think about that. Wow, that's great.
These young people dating young and things. We got some facts for you. So we'll be back next week, Wednesday at 9 a.m. with Dr. Sabrina show live here on Facebook and YouTube. This will be uploaded on YouTube so you can share it and tell people about it because this information needs to get out there. Help us get it out there. Go and find out what happened at this debate. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.